Armageddon is not a date on a calendar. Revelation 16 calls it a place, the ground where the kings of the earth are gathered. In the middle of that scene, a quiet blessing appears over the one who stays awake and keeps his garments, so he is not found naked and exposed. The fear version told you this was about surviving a global catastrophe. The inner reading shows you it is about remaining conscious and clothed in your own center while your lower circuitry goes to war. Now we bring Armageddon fully home. We are not chasing headlines. We are entering the field under your skull where your oldest survival patterns gather whenever the river of life seems to dry up. When Scripture names a place, it is not just drawing a dot on a map. The place called Armageddon is the low ground in you where everything runs when threat rises. Under the city of your higher thoughts, there is a valley. In your body, that terrain lives where the skull opens to the spine, where the brainstem sits like a narrow doorway between your thinking world above and the deep currents of the body below. Some call this region the reptilian brain. Anatomically, you are looking at the brainstem and the very top of the spinal cord, hardware that keeps your heart beating, your lungs drawing breath, your eyes snapping toward movement before you even know why. When pressure builds, signals from all over your field rush into this inner valley. The kings of your survival styles will stand up here. But first, you need a safe way to walk into this place without being swallowed by it. So before we go any deeper, you practice stepping into the Armageddon field with awareness instead of fear. If it is safe to do so, let your body sit or lie in a position where the back of your head and the top of your neck can soften. Let your attention rest at the base of the skull, right where the head meets the spine. Feel whatever is there: pressure, tension, warmth, or nothing at all. There is nothing to fix. You are just arriving. As you keep your focus there, let your breath become a little slower and a little deeper than usual without forcing it. On the in-breath, notice a slight lift in the back of the skull. On the out-breath, allow a softening down through the neck into the upper spine. If the word Armageddon has terrified you, quietly say it inside now and watch what this valley does. Does it tighten, tingle, go numb, stay quiet? Simply notice and keep breathing. This is your entry ritual. You are learning to step onto the battlefield as an observer instead of a casualty. At the base of your skull, the valley of this vision is already waiting. As we move on, you will see how this terrain and the rulers that stand above it show dragon, beast, and false prophet not as monsters in the sky, but as layers in this field under your skull. Revelation speaks of a place called in the Hebrew tongue Armageddon, a gathering ground where the kings of the earth are drawn together. You were told this meant nations marching toward a valley in the Middle East. But the text is also sketching a valley inside you, the low inner ground where your raw survival currents collect before anything noble, spiritual, or thoughtful can even respond. Every city in Scripture sits on higher ground. Under the city, there is always a valley, a place where waters flow and battles are fought. In you, that same pattern repeats. Above, you have the city of your conscious mind, your plans, your beliefs about God. Below, there is the valley where your most primitive reactions live. And when the river that once cooled and nourished that valley seems to dry up, everything down there feels exposed and crowded. Anatomically, that valley is not a metaphor in the clouds. It sits where your skull opens to your spine. If you trace a line from the back of your ears down to the notch where your neck begins, you are in the terrain of the brainstem, the medulla, the pons, and the very top of the spinal cord. This is the foramen magnum region, the narrow pass where signals from your body enter the inner city, and commands from the higher centers descend. This hardware does not care about theology. It manages your heart rate, your basic breathing rhythm, your primitive alertness. It is the watchman who jerks you awake at a sound in the night before you can form a prayer. When life feels like the river drying up, the money slows, the relationship cracks, the spiritual flow feels gone, the currents from your organs, your muscles, your field all rush toward this valley at the base of your skull. That is your inner Armageddon plane being exposed. For a moment, let this move from idea to experience. If it is safe to do so, bring your spine into a position that feels stable. Let your chin dip just a little, as if you are bowing the city of your thoughts over the valley beneath it. Place your inner attention on the back of your head where it curves into the neck. That is your Armageddon ground. Breathe slowly and feel. As you inhale, notice the slight lifting sensation where skull meets spine. As you exhale, allow a gentle melting down the back of the neck into the upper vertebrae. Now, quietly let the phrase, "a place called Armageddon," sound inside you. Watch what this valley does. Does it harden, buzz, empty out, or stay neutral? Do not argue with it. You are just letting this place reveal how it has carried your fears of collapse and endings. As you become more familiar with this valley, you will begin to notice that it is not empty. Forces are seated above it, driving what your body and mind do when pressure rises. Scripture calls them the kings of the earth. In you, they are the rulers of your survival brain that stand up when this low ground lights up. Revelation speaks of spirits going out to the kings of the earth and of the whole world to gather them to the battle. You heard that as presidents and nations being pulled toward one last war. Inside you, those kings are the rulers of your survival brain, the inner authorities that seize control when voltage rises in the valley at the base of your skull. Earth, in Scripture, is often the dense, embodied level of life. The kings of the earth are what rule you when you are fully identified with threat and scarcity. When Armageddon is triggered inside, these rulers do not wait politely. One king shouts, "Attack before they hurt you." Another says, "Run, get away." A third orders, "Freeze, go numb." Another pleads, "Keep the peace at any cost." Behind them, a harsh ruler turns on you and declares, "This is your fault," while a despairing king whispers, "It is over." When the river dries and pressure rises, several of these rulers try to sit on the same throne at once. That clash of commands is your inner Armageddon. Anatomically, their thrones are set just above the valley. Move your attention from the base of your skull slightly upward and inward, and you enter the domain of the limbic system and its nearby structures. The amygdala sounding the alarm, the hypothalamus coordinating stress chemistry, parts of the basal ganglia shaping your automatic habits. These are physical regions inside your skull, arranged above the brainstem like seats over the battlefield. As signals surge up through the valley, these kings decide whether you fight, flee, freeze, appease, collapse, or push forward. Think of a time when your own river seemed to dry up. The job shifted. A relationship cracked. The spiritual flow that once felt alive went quiet. Voltage rose in your field, and everything in you rushed toward that inner valley. Which king stood up first? The one who lashes out, the one who runs, or the one who goes still and numb while smiling on the surface? If it is safe, let your attention settle again at the base of your skull. Feel that valley while you breathe slowly in and out, just a little deeper than usual. Bring to mind one recent moment when the flow stopped. As you hold that memory lightly, Notice which ruler steps forward in your system. Do you feel the impulse to attack, to explain, to escape, to please, to shut down, to give up? Stay with the valley as your anchor. From that grounded place, quietly give the active ruler a simple name without shaming it. The runner, the attacker, the pleaser, the shut-down king, the hopeless one. You are not trying to overthrow it now. You are watching it sit on its throne above the battlefield. The blessing over the one who stays awake begins here. You can see the kings of your survival brain without becoming their prisoner. But these kings are not the deepest powers in the scene. Revelation shows them being stirred and gathered by three older forces the text calls dragon, beast, and false prophet. To understand why your rulers behave the way they do, we now have to locate those three layers in your own circuits. Revelation says that John saw out of the mouth of the dragon, and out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet, three unclean spirits going out to gather the kings to the battle. You were given those as cartoon creatures in the sky: a red dragon, a monstrous empire, a deceiving religious leader. Inside you, they are not costumes. They are three layers of force that color everything happening in the valley at the base of your skull and in the thrones of your survival brain above it. Start with the dragon. Before there is a story, before there is a habit, before you decide to attack or run, there is raw voltage. The dragon is that hot, primitive surge of survival current that floods your field when something feels like threat. It is the sudden acceleration of your heartbeat, the tightening in your gut, the charge in your muscles and jaw before a single coherent sentence appears in your mind. In your hardware, this lives in the autonomic circuitry that pushes you into high alert. Sympathetic activation rising from the brainstem and spinal cord, stress signals cascading into your organs, arousal systems in the lower brain ramping up. The dragon is not evil in itself. Without this charge, you would not move when you needed to. But when this current rises unchecked and you have no conscious relationship with it, the battlefield under your skull lights up in a way that can feel like the end of the world. Then comes the beast. The beast is not the charge itself. It is what rides the charge. It is the conditioned self that learned over years how to hitch a ride on that voltage and turn it into a familiar pattern. When the dragon's current rises, the beast says, "We know what to do here," and reaches for the same reactions, the same argument, the same addiction, the same withdrawal, the same self-sabotage dressed up as safety. Anatomically, this beast shows up in limbic habit loops and midbrain and basal ganglia patterns that lock in repeated behaviors. These regions sit above the valley and use the dragon's energy to run the old programs: shout, scroll, drink, disappear, overwork, cling. The beast is your trained autopilot self, the one that would rather be miserable in a familiar way than step into an unknown response. And then there is the false prophet. This is the narrative layer that stands above the scene and announces what it thinks is happening. It predicts doom, misreads signals, and hands you a script. This always happens to you. God is against you. This proves you will never be safe. It is not only what you say out loud, it is the ongoing commentary in your head that claims to interpret the dragon's charge and the beast's habits. In your hardware, this maps to cortical prediction and narrative networks, prefrontal planning areas, default mode tendencies, language circuits that string sensations into a story. The false prophet is not a newsreader, it is a commentator. It is always slightly ahead of the facts, forecasting disaster, promising that what you feel now will be the same forever. Take one recent moment that felt like inner Armageddon, the email that changed everything, the message that ended something, the silence from God that felt like abandonment. If it is safe, close your eyes and let your awareness sweep through these 3 layers. First, feel the dragon as pure sensation, the heat, tightness, or buzzing in your chest, belly, jaw, limbs. Do not call it good or bad, just feel the voltage. Then notice the beast. What reflex behavior tried to take that charge and ride it? The urge to fight, to run, to numb out, to perform, to cling? You do not have to act it out. You simply acknowledge, this is the move my system is reaching for. Finally, listen for the false prophet, the sentences that rose to explain it all. This is the end. You will never recover. This proves you were foolish to trust. Hear those lines as scripts, not as truth. You are not trying to silence them by force. You are seeing who is speaking. For a few breaths, hold all 3 in one field of awareness. Dragon as charge, beast as habit, false prophet as commentary. Feel them in your body, especially in and above the valley under your skull. This is the inner Armageddon stack Revelation has drawn in symbols. In the next movement, you will see how these layers reach for your throat and your speech, sending spirits from their mouths into your words and self-talk to gather all your inner kings into one catastrophic conclusion. Revelation says that out of the mouth of the dragon, the beast, and the false prophet come 3 unclean spirits like frogs, and that these go out to gather the kings to the battle. You were given that as a grotesque image in the sky, creatures leaping out into the air. Inside you, it is far closer and far more practical. It is the way charge, habit, and narrative jump into your throat, your tone, and your self-talk, and from there gather every inner ruler into one catastrophic verdict about your life. Frogs are jumpers. They sit still and then leap. That is what happens when the dragon's voltage rises. The beast's habit reaches for control, and the false prophet's commentary starts to form. They do not stay politely in the background. They hop straight from those layers into words, into the way you speak to others and to yourself. One sentence spat in a moment of threat can gather every king of your survival brain into agreement. This is the end. You will not make it. Your throat is not just a pipe for food and air. It is a gate between your inner field and the outer world. Anatomically, this gate is rich with nerves and muscles, the larynx and vocal cords, the small muscles that tense and release around the voice box, the cranial nerves that control swallowing and sound, the branches of the vagus nerve that run through this corridor carrying signals between chest, gut, and brain. When dragon, beast, and false prophet are stirred, this entire region becomes a bridge where inner Armageddon spills into speech. You have felt it, the tightness in your throat when a hard conversation starts, the way your voice rises, hardens, or breaks, the flood of words that comes out faster than you can think, or the sudden clamp where nothing will come at all. That is not random. When the valley at the base of your skull is lit and the kings of your survival brain are shouting, the dragon's charge pushes up, the beast's habits reach for the familiar script, and the false prophet throws lines into your mouth. Those are the frog-like spirits. They leap. Bring this out of theory and into your body. If it is safe, let your attention drop again to the base of your skull, the inner valley you have been learning to feel. Take one slow breath in and out there. Then recall a moment when your river seemed to dry up, a bill you could not pay, a silence from someone you depended on, a door that suddenly closed. As you remember, notice when the first surge rises toward your neck. Track it. Feel how the sensation climbs from the valley toward the throat. Maybe your jaw tightens, the back of your tongue hardens, or a buzzing appears in the soft tissue around the larynx. Before you let it turn into words, pause. Keep breathing. Let the surge be felt as sensation for a few moments without giving it a sentence. You are watching the frog prepare to jump without immediately letting it leave your mouth. Now gently lengthen your exhale. Inhale naturally, then let the out-breath be a little slower, as if you are pouring air down the front of the throat and into the chest. As you do, imagine space around the vocal cords, space around the vagus nerve as it passes through. You are not forcing relaxation. You are simply softening the grip of these muscles and giving the dragon's charge somewhere to settle without being turned instantly into catastrophic language. If a sentence wants to form, "This is hopeless. I always ruin everything. God is against me," let it appear in your mind, but do not speak it yet. Hear it as the false prophet testing the air. From your awareness in the valley and the throat, recognize, "This is a script trying to gather my kings." For a moment, choose silence instead of automatic agreement. The battle is not won by never feeling the surge. It shifts when you can feel the surge, sense the leap toward your throat, and stand present without letting every frog-like impulse gather your whole system into doom. In that pause, you are already beginning to stand somewhere higher than the valley and the throats of your inner rulers. There is another place in this vision, a mountain, a position of awake, clothed awareness above the war. That higher ground is not outside your body. It is another level inside your skull, a different seat of identity from which you can watch valley, kings, dragon, beast, false prophet, and throat all move without being owned by them. Revelation does not only show us a valley called Armageddon and kings gathered to battle. In the middle of that vision, it speaks of one who is blessed because he stays awake and keeps his garments, so that he is not found naked and exposed. The fear reading turned that into surviving a future catastrophe. The inner reading shows you a different picture, a higher place of awareness above your survival field, a seat where you can remain conscious and clothed while dragon, beast, false prophet, and kings move below. You have already met the valley at the base of your skull, the kings of your survival brain, the dragon's voltage, the beast's habits, the false prophet's commentary, and the throat where their spirits try to leap into words. Above all of that, inside your own skull, there is an inner mountain. Anatomically, you can picture the higher cortical regions, especially the frontal areas behind your forehead, as this elevated ground. Symbolically, it is the level of awareness that can watch brainstem valley, limbic kings, autonomic charge, habit loops, and narrative machinery without collapsing into any one of them. Armageddon will rise again in your life. A flow will dry up. A relationship will shake. A belief will crack. When that next surge comes, begin by returning to your body instead of your theories. Feel the weight of your feet or the support of the chair. Let 1 or 2 breaths slow themselves without force. Then bring your attention back to the base of your skull, to the inner valley you now know. Notice which king stands up first. Do you feel the fighter, the runner, the pleaser, the one who shuts down? Quietly name it inside without condemnation. You are staying awake and keeping your garments simply by seeing who has taken the throne. From there, sense the dragon, beast, and false prophet as distinct layers. Feel the raw charge in your chest, gut, or limbs without immediately turning it into a verdict. Recognize the familiar impulse that wants to ride that charge into an old behavior. Hear the sentences that try to explain it all. This proves you are finished. This always happens. There is no way through. Let them be heard as scripts, not commands. While you do this, Keep a gentle awareness at the throat, noticing how these forces are pressing to jump into your tone and your words. Now, lift your attention higher. Without straining your eyes, imagine your awareness sitting a little behind your forehead, inside the front of the skull. This is your inner mountain. From here, you do not disconnect from the valley, you look down over it. You can sense the base of the skull, the limbic thrones, the dragon's voltage, the beast's habits, the false prophet's commentary, and the throat gate, all within one field. Breathe slowly, as if the in-breath rises up this inner slope and the out-breath pours down over the scene like a quiet, clear stream. From that seat, you choose one small, non-panicked response. It may be a single honest sentence instead of a flood of catastrophic speech. It may be postponing a decision until your breath has steadied. It may be dignified silence instead of an old performance. That simple act from the mountain is you staying awake and clothed in the middle of the war. Armageddon is no longer a threat hanging over you. It is a diagram of your circuitry under voltage. And as you keep walking this way, you will find that other symbols in this book, the beast, the mark, the lake of fire, are not weapons aimed at you, but further maps of how your own inner temple is meant to be seen and transformed.